Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Toy Thornton. A community is mourning tonight after a shooting Wednesday night in Crowley. 2 women, the suspect and the K-9 police officer, are dead and 1 police officer injured. We were there at tonight's vigil where residents came to pray and pay their respects to the fallen. Crowley Alderman Brian Burrell says this is the first of many other events to fight crime in the area. Here's a recap of what happened. Police say 27-year-old Donald Johnson fatally shot an unidentified woman and then stole her car. Johnson then drove to a home in the 400 block of Josie Drive, where he opened fire and killed 41-year-old Katina Stevens at her door. Family says the 2 were dating at one point, but Stevens broke it off. Stevens' cousin witnessed the shooting and was beside himself, but says he will always remember Stevens as an angel.
To me, and anybody that know Miss Katina Stevens, aka they used to call her Mama Tina. All the kids called her Mama Tina. Anytime she seen the kids, she was giving them popsicles or giving them something to eat.
Now, when police arrived on the scene, they and the suspect exchanged gunfire that left Officer Tate Thibodeau injured and his K-9 partner Roscoe dead. Officer Tate Thibodeau is said to be in good spirits and at home recovering now. However, his K-9 partner Roscoe did not survive the shooting. KDN's Kristen Dre picks it up from here.
Not only are they friends, not only are they co-workers, but
Crowley Police Chief Jimmy Broussard also says Roscoe was full of energy, full of vim and vigor, and was an outstanding officer with the Crowley Police Department. He will be buried at the Police Memorial in Crowley. Also in Crowley, police are investigating a second shooting that happened around 5:30 today. Police say shots rang out in the 1600 block of West Hutchinson Street near K&L Grocery. Authorities recovered 5 rounds at the scene and believe 2 people fired at each other for reasons under investigation. Police detained 1 person for questioning, but his immediate involvement in the shooting is unknown. Anyone with information on this shooting is asked to call the Crowley Police Department. All right, now let's hear to Scott with the first look at your forecast. Scott, how's it feeling out there? Scott, a second suspect wanted in connection with the shootings on Boxey Road is now behind bars. St. Landry Parish Sheriff Bobby Guidreau says Joseph Malbrew Jr. turned himself in just before midnight Wednesday. Kendall Green is facing charges in connection with the shootings. Deputies say Malbrew, Green, and 1 other male went into a home on Boxey Road to fight a victim. During the fight, Malbrew, Green, and the victim were all shot with Malbrew's gun. Green and Malbrew are facing attempted first-degree murder and aggravated second-degree battery charges. Deputies are still searching for the 3rd suspect, an unknown black male, and anyone with information on this case should call St. Landry Parish Crime Stoppers at 948-TIPS. A Youngsville man is behind bars after a fight ends with a shooting. Officers responded to the 100 block of Equine Circle around 1:40 this morning. Police say Joshua Addy and the victim started arguing when the victim left the home but returned when Addy called him back. When the victim tried to leave the second time, Addy fired 2 rounds in the victim's vehicle, barely missing him. Addy is charged with attempted manslaughter. No word on bind. Heads up in Lafayette, the Lafayette Police Department is conducting a sobriety checkpoint somewhere within city limits from now until Friday morning at 3 a.m. The purpose is to target impaired drivers. Officers will enforce zero tolerance with drivers found under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Parents, counselors, and children needing mental health help can breathe a sigh of relief. On March 16th, the Louisiana Department of Health made cuts to mental health programs for the state's youth. Those cuts would begin on April 1st and would eliminate psychosocial rehabilitation services after phones were ringing off the hook from concerned citizens. The Senate Committee on Health and Welfare called for an emergency hearing. Now, emergency hearings don't happen often, and the reversal of the budget cuts is final and cannot be vetoed. Those mental health programs help over 40,000 children in this state. And speaking of state news, funeral services were held today for East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Deputy Sean Anderson. Anderson's body was escorted by police from the funeral home this morning, and the 43-year-old deputy was killed in the line of duty while investigating a rape case at a strip mall this past Saturday. Services were held at Healing Place Church in Baton Rouge and followed by a processional from the church to a sheriff's office substation on Airline Highway. A private burial was held after the processional. Deputy Anderson leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Our up will share part 2 of Paul Bosworth's story behind his brain injury. Stay with us. Welcome back. Tonight we share part 2 of Paul Bosworth's story. Bosworth suffered a concussion after repeatedly hitting his head while he was choking. KDN's Paulina Butska shares how he maintains with an untreated brain injury. That was our Paulina Butska. It's been a long struggle for Paul. Tomorrow we'll show you how Paul finally got the help he needed and what he's doing to make sure others in his position have a voice. All right.